Okay, so now I want to explain my opinion on GoHighLevel SaaS. And basically, I don't think the people that promote GoHighLevel SaaS are really promoting it in an honest way. The way they promote it is they promote it as a SaaS software, which it is. It is a SaaS, but it's not in the way that you would expect. And what I mean by this is your high-level SaaS, its main benefit is automation. Okay, obviously it has a lot of different features like things like that you can send messages, you can you can invoice, you can do things like install chatbots. Obviously there's other features, but its main feature that is really beneficial is its automation feature. And so most business owners, it benefits them to have that automation feature, right? For example, if someone sends them a message, they can get an automated response. It saves them time. If someone submits a form on their website, they can get an automated response. This is obviously something that's very valuable. I think the problem is though, is that in order to, okay, most business owners, if you were to sell them GoHighLevel SaaS and they were to actually use GoHighLevel SaaS in their everyday life, they wouldn't understand how to do automation, nor would they actually have the time to do the automation. So what this means is that basically, if you're selling GoHighLevel SaaS to people, you're essentially selling them an automation service. You're not actually selling the software as a service for them to use alone. Like for example, if I use a software, let's say I buy Monday.com as a software, I would be the one using that. If I buy Zoho, I would be the one using that. If I buy Xero, I would be the one using that. You know, but the people that buy GoHighLevel SaaS, they're not gonna be able to use it. And think about it like this, right? Let's say you try to promote GoHighLevel SaaS to electricians. Firstly, electricians have to manage their entire business, right? Electrical businesses. They have to manage their entire business. They have to manage their marketing, their operations, their accounting, their HR, all this stuff. All this stuff. How would they have time to learn automation, how to do the software, all this stuff? They don't have time, and they much rather pay someone to do it for them. So these people that promote GoHighLevel SaaS as something that you can sell and just leave, or like they kind of make it seem like it's passive income. Like you can just sell someone GoHighLevel SaaS and they'll just figure it out how to use it, and they'll just use it by themselves. Now I'm sure there might actually be some people that would like to do this. Obviously, there are some people that would like to, that own businesses that would use GoHighLevel SaaS and use it for their own use. But it's not going to be a lot of people, and it doesn't really make sense that most business owners would use GoHighLevel SaaS for their own use, especially for something like automation, right? So essentially, GoHighLevel SaaS can be I guess, an additional service if you're an agency owner, or it can just be you can just run a GoHighLevel automation agency. But to promote it like a software, I think is very misleading, and it doesn't really make sense to promote. You can use this software and you can, it will get you great results. That doesn't make sense at all. So that's basically my whole point. It's the equivalent of someone that's trying to push MailChimp, right? MailChimp, most of these big companies that use MailChimp, they don't use it themselves. Business owners, do you really think business owners have time to set up MailChimp campaigns and then set up the automations and all these different, the HTML codes, embed codes, set up these campaigns? And they don't have time for this. Most of them don't have time for this. I'm not saying absolutely zero of them have time, like would actually use it for their own use, but majority of them do not have time for this. So essentially, GoHighLevel is promoted like it's a SaaS software similar to Xero or to Monday.com or to all the, those would be actual SaaS that people would use. Software as a service, software that you can use for your business, to manage your business, to manage things, right? Those will be actual SaaS. GoHighLevel isn't SaaS. GoHighLevel is basically just some agency service. It's basically an automation service. And automation is a good space to get into because automation is increasing in demand. And obviously business owners would be happy to save themselves time. So it's definitely something that's in demand. and you can definitely, obviously you can create a business from GoHighLevel. It's a genuine service, but it's not a SaaS. I don't think it's a SaaS. SaaS, the term SaaS is kind of misleading, because when most people mention SaaS, they're more referring to things like, I guess, okay. So when they talk about SaaS, they're referring to things like instantly. Instantly is a cold email software. That is a SaaS. It's an actual SaaS that you can actually go into and use, and it's important for day-to-day use. Xero. A lot of business owners use Xero. Obviously, business owners do have accountants and things like that to help do their accounting, and I'm sure a lot of business owners, like if you compare GoHighLevel to Xero, it is kind of similar. Like for example, right, accountants use Xero, um, and then if you compare it to accountants use Xero the same way marketers use automation in GoHighLevel. So the person cannot do accounting without Xero, just like the person cannot do automation without GoHighLevel. That's the way it is. That's the way I see it. Is that it's a tool that you can use to generate a result, right? So accountants can use Xero to process invoices, to do things like reports, manage staff and payroll and things like that. Obviously, a business owner can do this, but a lot of business owners don't have time, and it's also very complicated for them to do. So they usually outsource this to an accountant. So similar to GoHighLevel, it's like an outsourced kind of SaaS. But the thing about Xero is that it's not just outsourced to accountants, although it is a lot of the times it is outsourced to accountants. But the thing is, even if you're a single business owner, you can still use Xero by yourself, and you would actually benefit from using Xero by yourself, and you will need to use it by yourself. Whereas for GoHighLevel, I don't see many people besides agency owners that would actually use it for their own business. Like, can you imagine someone who owns an electrical business trying to use GoHighLevel and trying to set up their automations? Can you imagine someone who owns a barber shop trying to do that? Someone who's a makeup artist trying to use GoHighLevel? I mean, let's be honest, they're not going to be able to use it. So it's kind of like that, It's kind of like that. It's just the same way an electrician doesn't know how to do accounting, so they outsource it to someone who knows how to do accounting and how to actually use Xero. It's the same way. If an electrician doesn't know how to set up automation, they would outsource it to someone who can do automation, and in order to do that, that person would need to use GoHighLevel. So in that sense, it is helpful. It's a helpful feature. It's beneficial, but it's not something that I would say most business owners would want to do themselves, whereas Xero is something that most business owners have to do themselves in the beginning stages, at least, unless they're like some, if we're talking these huge companies, then I mean if we're talking really small companies, then yeah, really small businesses, then yeah, they would obviously be using GoHighLevel, and even Xero, they would be using Xero. But the bigger they are, they're more likely to be outsourcing these things. They're more likely, like let's say for example, what's a big company? Let's just say there's a big franchise that does, like let's say McDonald's. Do you think the business owner of McDonald's genuinely uses Xero to manage his accounting? Of course not. He outsources that. Just like the manager of McDonald's, the director of McDonald's wouldn't use GoHighLevel to manage their own automations. So it's really honestly designed. If you really want to label it as SaaS, which they can use on their own, it's really designed for very small businesses, mostly sole traders or people that have maybe like 1 to 5 employees. But a very big business, that uses GoHighLevel, like the owner actually uses GoHighLevel as a software, I don't think they would do that. So in that sense, it doesn't make sense. And yeah, when I think of it, like if someone that owns a construction companies, by the way, are very, it's a big thing in Australia. It's a big thing in Sydney, Australia specifically, right? So construction companies, I think of the people that own construction companies, would they even be able to, would they even care to use and learn GoHighLevel? I doubt they would. So that's something that is, it's kind of hard to push and kind of hard to promote. And obviously automation is a good feature. Automation can save a lot of time, and it can make you look very professional. And if someone contacts you and you send them an automated message, obviously that can help save a lot of time, and you can actually reduce a lot of costs when it comes to customer service. But is it something that businesses really need? Like, is it really a big problem? As if you compare it to accounting, is that compare automation to accounting? Is that really as big as a problem as accounting? I don't think so. So in that sense, the demand isn't as high for GoHighLevel as it is for accounting software, or even project management software. It's primarily for, I guess, more. It's primarily for more service-based businesses because they really rely on that customer service, customer support, automation. So for service-based businesses, yeah, it is quite important for them. But even then, even most service-based businesses prefer to actually talk to someone in order to have a conversation and ask questions, things like that. So I don't think the demand is even that high for automation, to be honest. It might be for certain people might think it's high. Certain businesses might actually need it, but in my opinion, compared to accounting software, compared to project management software, compared to what else? Invoicing software, signature software. There's so many others. In my opinion, I think I would be better. I would be better off selling an accounting software, or I would be better off selling a signature software. That is something that is actually in higher demand compared to something like GoHighLevel, GoHighLevel, which is just basically automation software. So that's my opinion. I would rather actually create something that's kind of like Xero, so accounting software, but I'll make it very simple to use compared to something like GoHighLevel. Um, so overall, this video isn't to say GoHighLevel is terrible. It's not something that you shouldn't use, and you can obviously have GoHighLevel as a service, but and the other thing is it's not as easy to maintain like actual operations because you have to hire someone to set up the automations, right? If you were to create something like Xero, you don't have to hire anyone to do anything except for maybe customer support. And if you want to, constantly reiterate the actual software, then you can do that. But you don't actually need anyone to do the actual work, right? So if you're selling GoHighLevel, you need to constantly hire people. People hire on Upwork, people hire on Fiverr to set up GoHighLevel landing pages. They have to set up things like automations. So it's basically like a service. Whereas something like Xero, you don't have to actually pay people to do the actual work. Like Xero, you don't have to pay anyone to do the accounting because all accountants use Xero to do the accounting. Or something like PandaDoc. You don't have to pay anyone to create the signatures. See, PandaDoc, when I think of PandaDoc, I think that's actually that's a genuine SaaS because there is no one involved. There isn't any employees that would have to set up the signatures and all that stuff. Obviously, there's customer support, but besides customer support, that's the only thing, right? People would, give them advice and tips on how to set up, the signatures and things like that. But for GoHighLevel, you actually need to have experts that know how to use GoHighLevel. And for each different business that signs up to GoHighLevel, that means you have to have someone to manage that, someone to actually create the landing pages, create the automations, and set them up and everything. So anyway, that's just my opinion. Yeah, that's my opinion.